There are two ways of taking the IELTS test. You can take it on paper or you can take it on the computer. Some prefer the pen and paper experience, others fly high with the keyboard. In today's episode, we are going to elaborately speak about the two ways of taking the IELTS test. Today we have with us as guest Mr. Ashik Hasan, who is heading the brand strategy and public relations for Beximco LPG. A very warm welcome to Mr. Ashik. Please come in. Thank you very much for being with us today, Mr. Ashik. In today's episode, we are going to cover the two ways of taking IELTS. One is IELTS on paper, another is IELTS on computer. Now, the IELTS on paper is one that we had for a really long time, and I would like to know if that is the one that you took, and how was your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. I took my IELTS exam on paper. I think it was back in 2008 or 2009, possibly somewhere in the middle of 2009. I had to take it as part of the preparation for my higher studies in Australia. It was a good experience. I mean, overall, including the preparation part, working with British Council, and then moving forward to the exam day, it was a pretty good experience. I still remember how tensed I was carrying that whole transparent file with all my pens, pencil, and the pencil boxes, with the bag itself. And I was still pretty young at that stage, right? It was more than a decade ago. Yeah, looking back, it was a good experience. Taking that particular exam led to many other developments in my life. So I'm glad to be here today and talk about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much again. So the IELTS on paper that we have, it takes around 13 working days for the results to come in. But the other way of taking the IELTS exam is the IELTS on computer. And with that, you get the results much faster. So about 3 to 5 working days. And this IELTS on computer is another way of taking where you have everything else the same. So your reading, listening, and your writing, instead of paper, it will be on computer, but the speaking will be the same. So you still have to have the face-to-face interview because that's the best way of judging someone's speaking skills. And overall, it's just easier way of taking the exam to the the IELTS on paper that we have. So I just wanted to let you know that.
No, sounds great. I mean, I think this is the first time that I've heard of taking IELTS on a computer, and it sounds exciting for me. I was wondering whether you can take it from home.
Well, that's a misconception that people have. A lot of people have that misconception with IELTS on a computer. Well, no, you can't take it from home. There are 3 designated test centers, one in Chattogram, one in Dhaka, and one in Sylhet. You have to go there physically and then take the test. As I said, like everything else is the same. It's just instead of the paper, you take it on a computer.
Especially the part about, where it takes fewer days to get the test results. I think that's very convenient for everyone.
Yeah, and that's also very convenient in terms of how you can use it. If you're in a hurry with the results, you can definitely get it faster with this.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus, you were talking about the things you have to carry that you did carry when you were taking your IELTS on paper. Nowadays you don't have to carry anything. Literally anything. I mean, everything will be provided. So with the IELTS on computer, basically you just have to make yourself available to the test center, and that's it. They will take care of everything that is required.
I wouldn't be having to carry any personal equipment such as keyboard or mouse or anything like that.
Nothing at all. Everything will be provided by the British Council.
Given the current pandemic situation and the fact that all the hardware will be provided by British Council itself, what sort of COVID protocols or sanitization protocols are you undertaking?
Oh, that's a very important question that you asked. I mean, British Council has its top priority to make sure that the COVID protocols are maintained. So at the center, whether you're taking IELTS on computer or IELTS on paper, it's totally made sure that the physical distance is maintained, everyone's wearing masks, and any equipment that you're going to use for IELTS on computer, whether it's the computer itself or the mouse or the headphones, all kinds of equipments will be sanitized, maintaining all kinds of COVID protocols. So that's our top priority.
Sounds good.
So now that you know a little bit about IELTS on computer and you have already given IELTS on paper, if you had to give IELTS now, which one would you prefer?
IELTS on computer. Without putting much of a thought, it's very easy to decide for me. I've been a professional for more than a decade now, and I've become so familiar with with digitization of everything, particularly putting my thoughts onto a screen through the use of a device or something. So for me, from what I've heard so far, it sounds very convenient. I won't have to carry anything to the test center, so and then of course I'm familiar with the use of mouse and keyboard, and furthermore the fact that I'll be getting the test results in a much shorter time, that's very, very important for me. So it's an easy choice. IELTS on computer all the way.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's good to know. So finally, I would like to ask you, given that you've been a very forward-thinking, progressive person in your professional career, and we've seen how well you've done, what would the word tomorrow mean to you?
Tomorrow. Okay, interesting. I think for a lot of people, while tomorrow is an uncertainty, for me personally, I feel that tomorrow is a reflection of today itself. Everything that we do, all the decisions that we take, and all the effort that we make in establishing those decisions or realizing those decisions, that is essentially what tomorrow is all about. That is what is reflected in the near future, or in the following days, or at whatever stage of life it may be. So tomorrow is really a reflection of today, and I believe that every person should be in the driving seat of designing his or her own tomorrow, realizing the hopes, the dreams, and the possibilities. I personally I find tomorrow exciting, and I always look forward to tomorrow.
Wonderful, and I hope the IELTS brings the tomorrow really closer for everyone who's achieving anything in their lives, whatever their visions are. I hope IELTS actually helps them to get their tomorrow closer. So thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate you coming here and speaking to us. That'll be it from today. So that was it from our 4th episode of Bring Your Tomorrow Closer. In our next episode, we're going to talk more about how IELTS can bring your tomorrow closer. Stay tuned and leave your questions down below. Till next time. To book your IELTS, please visit www.britishcouncil.org.bd.